I promised on my channel that I would offer a look into what my life is like as a full-time professional woodturner. In this past month of June 2019, I visited woodworking schools, furniture workshops, home studios, a trade show, and threw in a Segway tour at the end, and I want to share this journey with you. It spans from coast to coast. I started out in St. Louis to do some production turning. To get there, I flew from Charleston. I drove from St. Louis to Columbus, Ohio for a trade show where I demonstrated wood turning and met up with a few other woodworkers y'all might recognize before circling back to Charleston for a couple of days. Then I was off to Seattle to teach at a couple of wood turning clubs and a school in the area and visit a girlfriend of mine, of course, another woodworker. From there, I went to the Sacramento area to make some videos that I can't wait to show you with a couple of other woodworking professionals before heading back home to Charleston. A furniture maker asked me to make a last-minute trip to St. Louis to turn some chair legs. Actually, 175 of them. They had been having difficulty finding someone to complete this job, and it was down to the wire. These chairs needed to be assembled and shipped out to Switzerland, so I had to finish all of these in 4 days. The first day was a lot of setup and preparation. I got my templates ready to go, got the lighting right, the wood was cut to length, the centers needed to be marked, and I needed to dial in my process on a lathe that is not usually meant for hand turning. This is typically a copy lathe. It does not have all of the features of my machines at home, like variable speed and a kick bar for braking that make production turning much faster and easier. The first piece took me about 30 minutes, which was way too long. At that rate, it would have taken me about 88 hours to finish this job, which I did not have. When I'm working on production turning, I am continually thinking about little ways to make the job more efficient without compromising quality. The exact placement of the tool rest and how many times it has to be moved, how I stand and hold the tool, how close my grinder is for sharpening, and even the height of the lathe all have an effect on the efficiency of my work. I like to time myself so that I'm continually racing my own best time, just like I would if I were running. The more pieces there are, the more my work starts to fall into a natural rhythm. Each piece gets faster and easier. My eye becomes more tuned in to the exact size of the pieces so that I need fewer checks with the calipers before my turning matches the pattern. I listen to music while I turn, which I find helps me to stay in that rhythm. By the end of day 2, the same piece that had taken me 30 minutes was taking me 8. By the end of day 4, the smaller pieces were taking me less than 3 minutes. For me, turning is a practice, like playing the piano or dancing. It demands that your mind and your body are working together and that both are focused and intentional. It is more than just following a certain set of steps or instructions. To find proficiency in turning is to find just the right finesse that each cut requires, to develop a sensitivity to the material itself, and repetition is essential to get there. No one becomes a master craftsperson overnight. It takes diligence and time, and to me, it's a process that doesn't end. Woo!
That's it. I'm done.
Oh, no. Oh.
$19 hours, 41 minutes, 175 pieces. Check it out. Ooh, that's a lot.
My clock shows the exact amount of time that I am turning. It is not running while I'm setting up, taking breaks, or sharpening tools. It's not running in between each piece. So when it reads 20 hours, I've been at work for over 30.
No, this is exciting.
Thank you. My next stop was Columbus, Ohio for the Woodcraft Vendor Tradeshow. My neighbors at this event were Jory, Brigham, and John Malecki, so it was an entertaining couple of days. Laguna had asked me to show off some of their lathes. This was a fun event for me since I just got to show up and turn. I made a few ebony finials for my sea urchin ornaments on the 12-16 and turned some platters on the 24-36. And I got to help out John Malecki with a creative idea he had for dartboard cabinet doors with turned handles.
I'm just trying to think in my head the way that's going to be spinning. So you got a lot of surface area going this way.
He wanted to turn the doors, but the diameter corner to corner on this piece was larger than what we could do between centers on this lathe. And we didn't have a tool rest for turning outboard. So I had the idea of shaping with an angle grinder while the piece was spinning off the end of the lathe. I don't recommend that you try this at home. We slid the headstock down and tried this idea on a smaller piece before turning his cabinet doors.
So, this is the pray for us moment.
Not any of the other stuff.
I'm more so I just don't know what RPM or anything this would be at. Where any speed, like.
Of course, we made sure that everyone was standing out of the line of fire, which is the path that the piece would take if it accidentally came off the lathe, just in case.
So much yes. So much yes, dude.
It's so cool.
Dude,
really.
I let John borrow my Sunstrom respirator for sanding. If you're interested, it's available on my website, ashleyharwood.com, and there's a link posted below this video. Next, I turned a shallow bowl for the handles on the front of the cabinet. These types of events are fun because it's an opportunity to meet and joke around with other woodworkers. Ta-da!
Oh, it's sick. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now let's cut it in half, stay in black.
For so many years, woodturning was primarily a solitary activity for me, so a bit of camaraderie is a welcome change.
Are you ready to do this?
I'll take that as a yes, some kind of acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I wanted to say, like, it's been a fun show, so come on.
What? No way. That's amazing. That's so cool.
Like,
Thank you.
Oh, unbelievable. I feel I
No.
I'm terrified of it.
Man.
Okay, yeah. Go like this, and then like this. Okay, yeah? So push up, and then, yep.
After a couple of short days back in Charleston, I was off to Seattle. I had been invited to Seattle to teach woodturning, but couldn't pass up the opportunity to visit my friend Ann and have a little fun on the farm and in the shop.
Stingy nettles, which is this thing right here.
Some of y'all may have seen the video on my channel about this stop.
Safety glasses all day, and then while we're picking vegetables, I get sawdust in my eye.
From Ann's place in Seattle, I drove north to Anacortes. This is a stunning part of our country where I was lucky to have a few hours on the day before class for a boat ride with my friend Les, who is also the coordinator for the Northwest Washington Woodturners where I would be teaching. I try to make it a point to spend at least a little time and enjoy the places I visit for work, and that also includes the food. Here it's all about the fresh seafood and beautiful sunsets. This was the first day of 9 straight days of teaching for me, and it was all about bowl turning. After class, we headed to the Northwest Washington Woodturners monthly meeting, where I gave a demo for the whole group. Clubs like this one are such a great way for people to get together, show their work, learn from each other, and share what they know.
You guys were all too quiet, so...
And occasionally they'll bring in demonstrators like me to share a certain set of techniques or a special project.
Okay, one more time.
I had one more day of class, and this time turning finials in Anacortes before heading back to Seattle. There, I had 2 days of hands-on class with the Seattle Woodturners. And I am now learning that I say ta-da a little too often. The first day of class here was bowl turning, and the second day was platter turning. Then I went back up north, taking a ferry out to Port Townsend. There, I had 10 students for 5 days in a woodturning fundamentals course.
My woodturning experience prior to a week with Ashley Harwood, I had not done any woodturning. I'm a brand new beginner. My expectations were far exceeded. Not only did Ashley teach the basic cuts, the basic turning. She then applied them to spindle turning, bowl turning, and she would also go back and repeat that skill set until it actually became something that was absolutely locked in.
I was just wanting to learn some of the basics, some of the fundamentals. Ashley taught those very well, from from knowing nothing to being able to turn spindles and bowls. And if I was more experienced, I still could have come to this class and learned more advanced skills, because she had them all rolled kind of together and could take people from wherever they were and improve their techniques and their skills.
It really did, and more so. I was hoping to learn how to turn a bowl, and I feel like I've come away with a nice grasp of basic bowl turning, and that was really kind of what I was hoping to get.
Absolutely met my expectations. The skills that I was looking to do was, a lot of it had to do with safety. It's when you're not used to anything, you don't know what you don't know. So I was a little, again, intimidated by fast-moving stuff, and is something going to fly off, and this kind of thing. So I was hoping to get a good foundation of how to approach turning in general, and absolutely got that.
It was our 43rd wedding anniversary, and Pat and I like to do things, woodworking classes together, and so we decided we'd combine the two.
We actually knew each other in high school, so we've been through a lot together, traveled around the world together and that kind of stuff. And actually in the back of my mind, when I saw that this class was going to be in June, I was thinking that'd be kind of a fun, memorable thing to kind of do. So it became part of our celebration.
I would recommend this class to absolutely anyone from brand new beginner to an advanced turner, because Ashley Harwood's skill set is exceptional, and there is something to learn from her no matter what your level is.
There it is.
All right.
Nice.
And after that, I went to California to visit my friend Mike Mahoney.
Let's taste it. So Grenache is a wine typically used here as a blending wine.
Mm-hmm.
I love it as a varietal just by itself. You want to taste it?
Yeah, let's try it.
So it's very light in color. It's a great lunch wine sort of thing. This one's young. This one's about, it's only about 7-8 months old.
Another thing that I promised to do on my channel is to introduce artisans whose work I admire and respect. So it was certainly a treat to create a video with Mike, who was someone I looked up to at the top of my field when I first started turning. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss this one when it comes out. And don't worry, everybody, the wine tasting happened after the turning.
Mm-mm.
No? Another video that you won't want to miss is a peek into Ericsson Woodworking. They're a father and son team, and their creativity and craftsmanship is incredible. The last stop on my trip was to visit my friend Camille. And yes, this was actually a day off and away from the lathe. Camille is a tradeswoman herself, and she hosts a podcast called Remodel Your Life that encourages women to try a hand in the trades by sharing personal stories of tradeswomen and valuable business expertise. You can check that out in the link below. We took a Segway tour in Sonoma, which was the perfect closing to my trip. Before heading out west, I attended the graduation celebration at the Charleston Woodworking School, where I am a regular guest instructor. It was heartwarming and impressive to see all of the work that these students have made in just a year. I'm excited to see all of the things that they're going to make in the coming years, and that there are so many young faces eager to carry on the craft of woodworking. During this busy month of travel, I was able to reflect on not only the potential of these talented emerging woodworkers, but also my own early experiences with woodworking. I reflected on the years of challenges, tribulation, and financial difficulty I underwent before finding any level of success, and how all of it is paying off now. It reminds me of my appreciation for the opportunities that I have, the places I've visited, and the friends I get to see, both new and old. But most important of all, I reflect on all of you. Whether you've taken a class, sat for a demo, follow me on Instagram, or watch my videos, none of this would be possible without all of you and the incredible support you've all shown me along this journey. So thank you. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see here, please hit subscribe. And if you want to make sure that you never miss a video, hit the little bell next to the subscribe button for notifications. I'll see y'all next time.